Hey, all it's DinosaInterSnk, and sorry, excuse the hair, just kind of getting late, getting ready for bed and all that. But um, I'm doing a follow up. This is for the Sony interview of, well, not Sony interview. This is the movie The Interview by Sony Pictures, which Sony, cleverly enough, released on Christmas Day by limited theaters and in regular, believe it or not, YouTube. I believe this is the first time a film such as this has ever come, or actually done anything like this has ever happened, where they've actually tested sending a film out directly to YouTube. Now, here's the thing. Um, okay, remember the my previous video. First thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the film itself. And we're going to talk about what the film entails and what it is. There's a few spoilers here. For all you that do know, that basically the whole film is about the attempted assassination of the North Korean leader Kim Jong Un on that, and he and this wild adventure by two guys. Now, when critics said that the critics complained and said that this is something that the critics that did see the film said it was nothing but medium level jokes and all that. If you think about it, this is one of those films that if you remove your brain, so to speak, if you remove your brain and then try to actually consider this a real film. Sorry, I'm just doing some adjustment. If you remove your brain and just watch the film for fun, um, you would enjoy it. Just think of the comedy of it. It's like that. Um, what it does show is something very, very interesting on that. It shows how media can play on things and just how images it plays. That was a neat aspect where it shows other people seducing other people to get information or to present a certain image, which both the characters Kim Jong Un and the CIA did. Um, it's a quite common tactic in this film. They called it honey potting or honey dicking on that. But overall, if you want to talk about how if the film's any good, well, I don't think it was that good. I think it was an attempt to be funny. There were some scenes that were funny. However, let's look at this perspectively. They in the beginning of the film they find out that this guy, the main producer of the film, they do a sleaze bag like TMZ kind of thing on that, and where they just do celebrity stuff, not real news. So then they do ecstasy on this wild party, and then everyone gets, drunk, and they wake up. What the hell happened? Kind of cliche, but okay. Then they wake up and find Kim Jong is a big fan of their show, and the plan is they're going to go over to North Korea, um, and do this show. Okay. So then what happens is that the CIA finds out about this, recruit them to kill Kim Jong, and the character that plays him, it's kind of like, just what? You people selected who? And the guy they play was more American than he is Korean, honestly. But I know they're trying to be realistic, but they had an interesting point. And I'll talk about Dennis Rodman for a second. When Dennis Rodman went and visited Kim Jong, which technically as an American you're not supposed to be doing that, but he did. He was shown like all these good things, probably not all the ugly stuff. At the same time, I don't think Rodman wanted to know the ugly stuff because that would probably lead to him staying in Korea for a long time, North Korea. Um, so we have to think about that a little bit. So focusing on that issue, the fly. No, they're on that issue. So these guys go up, they make arrangements with North Korea to go to North Korea on that, and they go over there and they find out Kim Jong has like some American stuff, has a tank from Russian tank from Stalin, listens to Katy Perry, like all this American stuff, and what they did, the whole concept was is that at some point they weren't going to assassinate him, but they were going to make him look human, so the North Korean people see he's human, not like a god. Because everybody in the world was seeing him. So the entire film is laid with f bombs, sexual innuendos. Um, some of which was kind of funny, some of which was just like, oh boy, that was just a little too much. Or just some of it was just like that was just so dumb. Um, um, there was one funny scene where the North Korean political person, this really hot North Korean girl comes in, and they were going to kill John by shaking his hand and have like a tape of ricin attached to his hand, or just some poison attached to their hand, and she starts making out with the guy with the hand with the sticker, and he's like, "No, we Americans don't like hands. Like, fine, use your teeth to take off my bra." And it's like he's like, "Oh, this is so hot." That was kind of funny, but the rest of it was just kind of like, typical "what's in your rear" jokes. It's just it's kind of overplayed, in my opinion, and the ending was kind of funny. It was kind of funny how they did it, where one guy's yelling Dave, Kim, and the other guy's named Dave, or no, yells Skylark, and all that. And they eventually Kim Jong dies by a tank shell being shot in the air, hits the back end of a helicopter, and the helicopter explodes, thus averting Kim Jong's order to launch the nuclear missiles and starting World War III. And then Korea goes into civil war, and eventually the Democratic Korea um, is formed, and the elections will be held. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. That's the summarize. Let's just summarize the film. On that, and our guys get home, and the North Koreans get internet and Skype and everything, and that's swell and that's good. But here's the whole problem with this whole film. I mean, first of all, not to mention it's completely unrealistic, and it's a comedy, and you detach yourself. Um, you need to think about like the film itself and how much money it has grossed. I mean, you know, see now here in the news today, okay, we're seeing, and this is on CNN here, that says experts who have examined everything, and now they're saying there's growing doubts about North Korea's role in the Sony hack. Okay? So, even to say, and I quote, "It's clear to us based on both forensic and other evidence we've collected that unequivocally they are not responsible for orchestrating or initiating the attack on Sony, who runs, this comes from Sam Guys, who runs a cyber company, Norse." Okay? This is interesting. This is what I said about a week ago. So here you're saying the Sony Picture Entertainment Company said they did this, and the FBI accusing North Korea of saying they did it on that, saying that this they had hacked, and now there's doubts that they did on that. So here you go on that. If who stood to gain, and this is a Latin phrase, cui bono, on that, who stood to gain if they could make this film controversial? Because obviously, after watching the film, they didn't spend a lot of money on it. All they did was use some cliche phrases, cliche music, cliche everything girls that they could have really got anywhere, and and that was it. Okay, and this is the thing. So now what? Where do you think? If North Korea didn't have everything, earlier it was mentioned that Russia could have had anything, or Iran could have had something to do with it, or let's see, what was it? Russia, Iran. I believe it was possibly North Korea, but there was a fourth one. See, North Korea, Russia, China. So, but here's the thing. Did any of those other countries have anything to gain off hacking Sony or hacking Sony Entertainment than making this threat about the interview? None of them did. They weren't going to get any money. Um, but now here, let's think some rationally. Do you think that this guy Kim Jong, as much as the media calls him a crazy here, um, um, do you think they really, really on that allowed or the do you I mean here's the point here. Do you think they're really going to start World War III over this? A fucking film? No. So if North Korea didn't do this, and Russia and China and Iran really had nothing to gain about this, then who did it? And Lizard Squad, lately PlayStation Network and Xbox Live went down, but Lizard Squad was very clear, and they said this was to do it for LOLs or LULs, is to laugh about it and why the system's down. Ha ha, funny. And then this, the only people who could have possibly have done this and done it in such a way to drag such an audience, and out of the blue, where nobody knew how YouTube was going to do this, they put the interview up on YouTube. And I think one of the subsections is on Christmas Day. The interview only made $1 million on Christmas Day. And it could make a couple of million more over the long holiday on that. I don't know that we don't know the results yet because it's still the weekend and we don't know the final tally on that. But they also mentioned his interview was a big hit. So it was like, well, let me see. They're saying there's other articles saying the interview was illegally downloaded 750,000 times on Christmas, but they're not showing how many people to do it. And it says also just only 331 independently owned movie theaters opted to show the film reported, and all of them or most of them reported them sell out crowds. So really, on that, if you think about it, let's just look here if the numbers up. Nope, the numbers not up. There is already illegal downloads. This thing is all over the net. So really, for a film about the saying about all this, who's the one who stood to gain? The film sucked. Everything about it kind of sucked. North Korea wasn't going to start World War III over this. It wasn't like we launched or anything because what it would have done, it would have upseated their power. These people might be powerful, might be madmen, but they're not stupid. They start a fight with China, they get their asses kicked. They start with the U.S., they get their asses kicked. They know that. They attack Japan. The U.S. comes in, they get their asses kicked. Think, people. Think. It was Sony. Sony did it, and now just from the news, it looks like financially they might be able to make money, but not the kind of money they think they were making on that because of the illegal downloading and the fact here. So I applaud the effort for the test, but you know what? People are a little smarter than anything. Anyway, this is DinosaInterSnk. I hope you enjoyed.